today we've been joined by Nicola Biagi from the West Adelaide SANFLW Football Club. Nicola, thanks for coming on.
It's no problem. Thank you.
So tell us a bit about yourself. What kind of got you into footy and what type of player you are?
What got me into footy? I loved it as a kid and used to play under 12s if there was any fill-ins for my older brother's team, but there wasn't any avenue for girls, so I went straight into basketball. So then when it came up as an opportunity for me as an adult, I jumped at it. So what kind of player I am, I guess I'm happy to play wherever I guess I'm needed. Like, I do love a bit of defensive work, but I also like kicking goals, which I haven't always been able to do. Had to work very hard on kicking. But at local level, I love playing through the midfield and seeing other people kick goals, and also off the halfback flank. So I feel like I'm a bit of a utility. It just depends on what the team needs and where they need the spots filled. So, yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, versatility, as you would know, Nicola, is so important these days. You know, if you're struggling in one spot, you're more likely going to find yourself out of a team in the team that you're originally in. Whereas if you've got versatility, if you're struggling in one spot, you might be able to be thrown into another spot. No problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's always the hope and dream if you can't, make it work. They can find somewhere else for you to fit in the team. But, yeah, it doesn't always happen that way.
That's right. So you originally started at the Central Districts in the SANFLW. How did that opportunity come about for you?
Yeah, so I started playing for Tanunda, so a local community club, and then Sean Ribbons, who was the inaugural coach, saw me playing something called State Champs. So we were their Central Zone, which happens over the July long weekend, which is coming up again this year. So he saw me playing there, and then, he asked me to come out to Centrals, and then I was lucky enough to be voted in to be the captain. So, yeah, it happened pretty quickly, to be honest with you. I'd only played really 6 games of football as an adult. Before I started, out at SANFL.
So obviously you said you were captain there at the Central District. So how was leadership like something that you always wanted to get into, Nicola, or was that something that was just thrown upon you at that time? And how do you think back on it now? Is that something that you always wanted to be involved with?
I don't know. I feel like I set my values for my team, and I think that maybe they voted me in because they saw what I can bring in terms of like discipline and voice, accountability. At the time, being the first there, the last to leave, and those kind of things. And I think, especially when it's a new club, you need to have people like that around. So yeah, I mean, I do like leadership roles because I feel like they make me an extra accountable person, and they align to a lot of, how I go about my business. So, but again, like, it depends on, I guess, the team and what they're looking for in a leader too. So again, I wouldn't necessarily vote myself in, but if that's what they think, that I'm the leader for them, then that's great. So yeah, no, it definitely was a nice surprise, and especially because it was all voted in for by my peers and by people that had played football for many years, whereas I was very, very new. So yeah, and I love the leadership space and being involved and the team representative to the coaches and the, I guess, supporters and the board and all of that. So it was a really big honour, especially, I guess, being new to the SANFL community. So yeah, looking back, I wouldn't change a thing. Like, absolutely loved it for the first 2 years, and then, stepped down, wanted to focus on my own football and improving as an athlete individually, and how I can contribute to the team on field better as a player. And then we had, obviously, Shelby Smith, who's an incredible leader and just a fantastic player, step into that role and has been doing it ever since and doing a fantastic job. So, yeah, credit to her.
That's good. So, obviously, then you made that jump from Central to West Adelaide this year. How did you come up with that opportunity to switch clubs?
I think being at a club for 5 years is an amazing feat, and, like, very grateful for my time at Centrals. And I learned a lot. Like, I learned a heap from, the 2 coaches there, all the girls that came through. And I just felt that I'd learned all I could learn, and I needed a new environment to keep me at that level and keep growing. So again, it was not a decision that was made quick, smart. Like, it took a lot of contemplating and thinking, because I did and still do, like, have good relationships with people from Central. So, but I just saw West and had a chat to them and just felt that it was going to be the right fit for me moving forward. And and to help continue me grow into the sample space, because the sample every year is getting quicker, better skills, everything like that. So as an athlete in the sample, you have to continually grow with that. And I just felt that my time at Central's, I guess I'd become a bit stagnant in the last year. So I just needed that fresh new challenge, both with coaches and players, I guess, in the end. So, yeah.
So now I wouldn't be remiss to not mention that you obviously been through some injury troubles. Can you detail it to everyone how that journey had been for you and how tough was it to be through all that time being injured?
Yeah, so I guess like as an older athlete, because I'm 32, I've never had any real serious injury, both in basketball, netball, anything, even in the first couple of years playing football. So, and I'd seen other girls do ACLs, ankles, everything like that, and never really understood the journey that it actually takes you on mentally and physically. So in 2021, our last game of the season against Glenelg, me and I can't remember what player it was, we were both sprinting towards the ball, but because the ball was in the air, we were both looking at the ball and we just clashed knees. So essentially her knee hit just above my knee and it swelled up like a balloon and I couldn't move it without being in excruciating pain. So I didn't think it was anything, but then I had to go for an MRI and an X-ray, and then it came back that I had something quite rare called osteochondral discecans, which is actually the bone in your knee that had a tiny portion of it had come away from where it should be. And it's not a common, not a common injury in athletes or in athletes of my age. So they're unsure of whether it was the actual collision that had caused it or if it was a previous, previous bone density injury that had happened when I was a bit younger and maybe didn't notice it enough for them to do anything. And when I was younger anyway, like MRIs weren't really a thing anyway that they'd do on your knees, whereas nowadays it's a lot more common. But so that happened in the last game against Glenelg in the 2021 season, and then I had surgery on it, and I've got 2 bone screws that calcify back into bone through my knee. But it is it was a 12-month rehab, but it's an ongoing management thing because it never goes away. So essentially it could come loose at any time and cause me more troubles, and then I'll have to have another operation to remove that tiny portion of the bone altogether if my knee stops functioning as it should. So it's a load management thing now, and it was definitely a hard road because it wasn't, as much as it was a knee injury, it was very hard because everyone's like, oh, you'll be back soon. But that's not promised with anything that's bone and joint related, because arthritis can come in. And again, like a lot of different sports surgeons, I think I ended up seeing 3 different sports surgeons and 2 different sports doctors, because everybody has like very different opinions on how to actually manage it. So it was a really hard time mentally, especially because so many people are just so lovely and they'll be like, oh, you'll be back out soon, like it's fine, like you'll be fine. And it's like, it's not that simple. But I appreciate, the support and people checking in. But so it's an ongoing management thing. But again, trying to come back from an injury, turning 30 at a state level, and the game just moving so much quicker, you just really have to look at yourself hard in the mirror and go, can I do this? Am I able to come back from this? And what do I have to do to try and come back from that? And Brad Bain and the team at iPerform, the physios there, they were just amazing. Same with Injury Hub at Williston. They've just been integral to the process of me being able to get back and actually play sample footy. And I don't think that can be discounted, the importance of a good physio. So, yeah.
So how special did it make, Nicola, to come back on the weekend and make your league debut for West Adelaide? But I feel like, just from listening, it was more than just a debut game for a different club. It was a return that, you didn't know where it was going.
Yeah, I guess last year, obviously, Centrals were the premiership side, and I was out there for the entire pre-season and season last year, and played all the development matches, and was the number 1 emergency. So I didn't get to actually play league last year because, again, like the depth that Centrals have is a credit to them and a credit to the young girls that are coming through the pathways. And like I said, every year it's getting better. It was just unfortunate that for me, not unfortunate. It's fantastic that, you know, the team got a premiership, and it was very special that I got to be there alongside, you know, long-term friends of that 5+ years. It was selfishly unfortunate that, you know, I didn't get to contribute, it felt like, to that premiership, because I didn't get to play at all, and being, you know, an emergency for the entire season mentally as an athlete, to anybody who's been, I guess, sidelined or emergency and been so close but not actually got to play, is like a very, very tough game mentally. And then again, like coming out to West and then playing all the development league matches and trial matches, and then still being out there as a train on, but also playing at Tanunda and coaching at Tanunda. I just didn't know if it was going to happen this year again. And I guess mentally I was a little bit worried, but at the same time I was like, you've just got to, you know, keep doing what you're doing, put your head down, focus, work on all the things the coaches give you to work on, get feedback, and just really continue to grind, no matter, I guess, what people say or what thoughts you have of doubts and failures and stuff like that, and just try and overcome them by just doing the work. Because sometimes your own mind, and sometimes your friends and family who love you dearly, when they're like, oh, you know, is it really worth all that time and energy? And, you know, and it absolutely is. So yeah, it was very special on the weekend, I guess, for me, being an older player, and then last year again wanting to contribute at that league level, but maybe not being good enough, or maybe my age or you know, previous injury. You never know. But these are all conversations that I guess you have to have honestly and openly with coaches, and that's all well and good. But yeah, it just meant a whole lot to be able to come back at this age and have, you know, my friends and family and workmates and everyone support me, as well as my teammates and coaches. So yeah, it was really special.
That's good. So in that time though, when the injury was happening, did it ever come to a point, Nicola, where you thought, this is just too much to continue? Did you mention with the age and mention with, you know, this injury and the rare incident? Did you get to a point where you're like, I'm not going to come back from this? Were you chopping and changing, or did you always have that plan from the start that you wanted to come back, no matter at what level it was, but you'd come back?
Yeah, see, I'm a combination of determined and stubborn. So when some of the surgeons and sports doctors and stuff are saying, oh, you know, it is a risk to go back to a contact sport because it's not fully healed, essentially, like you'll always have to run the risk of, if you know, injure it, or if it bends the wrong way, or something happens to it, you know, you'll have to have another operation, and you'll be older then, and, you know, all of this stuff. And I was like, nah, I'm not ready to give it up, and I don't want to give it up, because again, like, and I hope all the young girls out there that have got these pathways know how amazing it is to be able to play football as a woman, because I never got to, and I would have killed to at 16, 17, 18, and try and, you know, go into the draft combines, which aren't a reality anymore. But like, you know, it's just, for me, when people tell me that, no, I can't do something, or no, that's not in your best interest because of X, Y, and Z, unless it's actually going to kill me. I tend to go, I've committed to this, I want to do this, so I'm going to do this. So it was never a question of, there was a lot of tears and a lot of back and forthing between sports doctors, surgeons, physios, all of that, about the risk versus reward. But at the same time, like, I love footy. I really do. Like, it's how I connect to, you know, a lot of different people. And I feel like the female football community at a lot of different clubs has given me something that other sport hasn't, which is girls that genuinely are in your corner and want to support you and want to see you do well. And I think that of all the other sports I've played, like, I enjoy that connection with my teammates and with people the most. And some of my lifelong friends are now from football, and, you know, it's given me those sorts of things, and I'm not ready to step away from that as a player just yet. So yeah.
That's good. So obviously, how do you feel the side's gone this year so far?
As in Westies?
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. We've got a lot of youth, which is amazing, but we've got some, you know, consistent players in there, like Venning and Hooper and Hanson was in there for a bit, and Pagey and a lot of people that have got a great wealth of experience with their football. And again, those young people in Lucy Way and Molly Peterson, Asher, and all the state girls have just injected a whole nother level to their game. I know it hasn't always gone our way in the last week being the exception, but only by a couple of points. So realistically, like, just tightening on scoring and executing when we're up forward is a pretty exciting thing to have to work on. I think that, you know, there's many other things that can lead to teams losing by a lot, but a credit to, again, the girls and the coaches and all of that for really being able to harness everybody's strengths out on field. And, you know, we're so close to making finals. We've just got to win this week, and we need to either win by a tiny amount or lose. So, yeah, it's really exciting. So praying to the football gods. But, yeah, I think so far, you know, we started really strong, and we've worked on things throughout the season that hopefully we can finish strong, and the football gods will allow us to get into finals. So, yeah.
Let's hope that's the case. Now, you mentioned, Nicola, about a few of the girls that played in the state championships or, you know, been a part of those types of systems. How proud are you of seeing some of the girls you're playing alongside, or at least been at the club with, to see at their age, you know, making those levels or further getting close to those AFLW levels?
Oh, it's so exciting and so proud. And again, like, it's a credit to their work ethic on and off the field. You know, their skills are just so pristine, like you really can't fault them. And just the work rate that they have on them, like they just keep going and going and going. And again, like, they're only going to get better over time still, which just blows my mind that, you know, they're still going to get better and they're already amazing. So all the credit to them. And again, like, a lot of the young girls, just in terms of, like, I guess, like body mass and everything like that, as they get older and the more gym stuff they keep doing as well, they're just going to build more muscle and become stronger and stronger beasts of athletes. So again, it's really, you get really proud to see, you know, the black and red represented by 5 or 6 of the girls that are just absolutely killing it. And again, there's so many more coming up that we've had come out to training that are like 15, 16-year-olds that just compete, and they're just so good. And it's just so exciting, you know, for the club.
Yeah, that's good. And hopefully, as you said, hopefully the results go the way you need it to go this week. Throughout the football time, you mentioned about playing locally as well. What would you say are some of your football accomplishments or premierships that you've had throughout your time?
The only real premiership I've had is from state champs last year. So it's like the road safety MAC regional state champions. So we won that last year as the Central Zone with Sean Ribbons coaching that, and a lot of the local girls from the Barossa played in that, which was awesome. So that was definitely a big highlight, although it was 3 or 4 games in one weekend, which for me was not fun, but well worth it. But yeah, apart from that, been so close so many times with finals, or just missing out on finals, or playing in the first couple of finals and getting knocked out, which, you know, is really sucky. But at the same time, like, I guess you win together, you lose together. And at the same time, at community footy level, like my team locally, Tanunda, we're sitting 3rd on the ladder at the moment. And we've got a big rivalry game this Friday night, so that should be really good. And hopefully we can secure that 3rd spot. And then, yeah, coming into finals, go up against the top side, which is going to be a hard side to beat, but a credit to them for years and years of hard work and good recruiting. So, yeah.
Now, that's good. Now, this can relate to either West Adelaide or Central because you've been there a bit longer. So who would you say has been some of your favourite teammates at either clubs?
Oh, man, I'm worried that I'm going to get a fine either way. So I'll probably get fined from my Westies girls if I say anyone at Centrals. But it's so hard because it's like friends or teammates. Like for me, like I'm friends with a lot of girls that I love, and then the best kind of teammates, you know, I don't want to be biased by saying that they're your friends too, but I guess like for me, like Lauren Briggy, everyone calls her Lauren Brigette, but it's Briggy. She's probably one of the best teammates because she just works hard and she doesn't showboat her skills or anything like that. And she does team things that don't necessarily equate to stats or anything, but they help the team get the win. And, you know, I met her when she was 16 and now she's almost 21 and kind of been like a little sister to me. So she's definitely up there. Obviously, this is just for Centrals and then I'll do Westies, but, you know, Shelby Smith, probably one of the only people that handing over the captainship was so easy because she was so easy to follow because she set such a good example on and off the field. So, you know, really great teammate to have. And then I know she's probably, these couple are retiring or have retired, but like Chantel Reynolds, if you heard her name, she was amazing. When I transitioned into the forward line from defense, she helped me tirelessly and always believed in me, never gave up on me. And then Ella Micken off the back line, she's just elite. I just loved playing with Ella. So, never gives up. She's the meaning and definition of grit. For Westies, I could honestly name so many people from Westies that I've loved playing with. I guess I've only played the one league game, but I guess development, like there's so many young girls, it would be hard to pick a name out the hat of who's a really good teammate in that. But I guess in league, like I'm trying to think of all line groups, so forward, mids, and back. Obviously, Venning in the middle, like she's just amazing to have in the middle. She reads the play so well when she's able to deliver the ball in forward, and she can kick goals too. So she's super dangerous, and she works hard. At the moment, I guess, she not debuted, but she had her first league game on the weekend as well. Sarah Campbell, who kicked 3 goals, 1. So she's just a little workhorse too. So, and she just tries and tries and tries. And you know that when you're next to Sarah, that she'll give 100% or more if she can. So, but again, like Nicole Hooper, who's in the forward line, she's a bit like me, one of the older gals. So she's just really, a good leader and really good direction and really encouraging and really gets around you. So, which is just absolutely fantastic. And then Maddie Russell is just, a superstar. She's a great captain and really holds that back line well. And, again, always offers words of encouragement, words of support, reaches out to you and checks in on you. And then, again, I could name so many of the young guns, which just make running easy. And if you kick it out in front of them, if it's a little bit too far, that they'll get there because they're just so speedy. So, I feel like I'm forgetting someone because I wasn't expecting that question. And now I'm like worried that someone's going to watch this and be like, I can't believe you didn't mention me, Biagi. So hopefully, hopefully I didn't forget anyone, and I'm sorry for this.
So, covered all bases, Nicola, before by saying everyone. So you covered.
Thank you.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because there's more teammates questions coming. There's still plenty more. And the next one is. Well, this is a funny one. I love asking this because there's always someone that fits this spot, or maybe more than one, who loves the limelight, attention, the camera at the club. They can't get enough of it, and they know what to do when cameras are around.
I want to say Steph Treadwell because she's very cool. And I feel, oh my God, I feel so odd saying that, but she's very cool. And I feel like she always says funny things when the camera's around. I don't know if she loves the limelight, but she's good in it. Same with Gemma Ellis. I feel like she's always very funny and very cool and knows what to say. And even Lauren Young. I mean, she's just a superstar in general. I'm sad I didn't get to play with her this year and then her ACL. But she's a cracker. You just never know what she's going to say. And then when she does, she's just so down to earth. I just love her. They're all good eggs. So, yeah.
I had Loz on Young that is recently, and I've spoken to her for a while throughout last year. She's a ripper person. It was unfortunate. I'd spoken to her prior to the ACL and then interviewed her not long after, so only a couple of weeks after. And it was just sad to see, be the future of the AFL. We're talking about future of AFLW. If you go to the men's, people talk about Harley Reid, being the poster boy or poster guy of the AFL competition. Well, Loz Young is the future AFLW poster person as well.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And she'll absolutely kill it. Like I have no doubt in my mind, like just the way that girl reads the ball and how strong she is. Like she is literally so strong. I remember doing a drill up against her and I was like giving her a bit of push and shove as you do. And then she just pushed off me and I was like, and I consider myself pretty strong. So I was very surprised in a good way. So yeah, I think she'll just absolutely tear open that AFLW competition. So I can't wait to see her back and doing that. So yeah.
That's right, same here. And I mean, you talk about injuries, Nicola, about yourself, and Loz was very similar. Like, she had that injury like a month or two ago now, and she was just so positive that and at that time thinking, how could you be so positive? In her case, it was 2 ACLs in 3 years, I think it was. It's like, how do you remain so upbeat? But now she's obviously not happy about it, but upbeat about it and just pushing along. It's just great to see anyone in a scenario like that, how you could be so positive within the first month of doing it.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's like the hardest thing is like, you're trying to come to terms with the fact that you're about to go through a 12-month rehab. But I think it's easier if you've got like good people supporting around you and Lauren really does. And, I think that her attitude and the way she goes about anything any opposition she comes up against, any challenge she faces, she really does just go into it with a good attitude. And I think, without going all spiritual, I think like the universe rewards her for that. And I'm just sad that, again, it didn't reward her by playing really good footy in the SANFL and then obviously doing an ACL. So
that's right. Now, who are some teammates, Nicola, that you feel fly under the radar a little bit and don't get talked about as much as you feel they should?
That is a really good question, and I don't want to miss anyone. I mean, I feel like it is good because a lot of the coaches will call out a lot of people's like 1%ers, 2%ers, those kind of things all the time, even if they're not necessarily, getting in best or anything like that. They do get called out for the work that they do and what they bring to the team. So I feel like sometimes maybe, I don't know, like I feel like, again, I hear their names here and there, but sometimes, again, like I can be off with the fairies. Like I feel like Emma Kilpatrick, although she's, a younger gun and out there, I feel like sometimes the work that she does can go maybe missed, but not by, I guess, our team or coaches necessarily, but I guess by some write-ups. And same with Livy Smith. I think that she just works so hard and can sometimes be underrated, and even Paige Allen, which I'm pretty much naming our wings really. But the work they do, like you never don't notice it and what they bring. But sometimes, you see write-ups and you're like, how did that person not get in that? That was like a ripper game by them. So, I think that those girls do really, really good work. Even Ruby Ballard, I know that, again, these are all pretty much young state academy girls, but I think that sometimes their work rate and what they do misses out where other people got written in for it without saying or doing too much there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that in the past of just anything. You read articles about game reports and stuff like that for any level. You read that, you go, and you might watch it, you go, yeah, they were pretty good. Then you read the article and they're not even mentioned. And someone that, maybe it wasn't that great or not as good as the individual you're thinking of. It's like, how the hell did they get in there? And this one didn't.
Yeah, well, that's where I feel like sometimes they write the reports upon like who got the most, whether it be disposals, tackles, whatever. And when you actually watch the game back and, you see the actual work that people put in that don't necessarily amount to stats, but were integral in important plays of the game, whether that be a block so that someone can kick a goal. Like I think that those are all really important things that obviously aren't stats, and that would be really hard to track because it's like, what would you define as a block, blah, 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 blah. But I think that those sorts of acts and those things sometimes do get missed. Oh, and while I was thinking about that, because I just was thinking about the game on the weekend, Tiana I can't say her last name, Fernandez? Yeah, Fernandez. She, I think as well, like she's just a quiet achiever and she just goes and does her thing every week, week in, week out, and she might not necessarily get in the reports, but yeah, it definitely doesn't go unnoticed. So.
Mark or goal of the year, which one would you rather do and why?
I think I would, now that I'm a forward, it would make sense for me to say goal, but like I would love to have mark of the year, I think, and do like a Chloe Shear. 1 year she got it in the AFLW and it was just an elite mark. And I just have so much respect for like elite contest marks. But then also Danielle Ponter's goal of the year when it came out the middle and she did that in the AFLW and it went through, which was just the most unreal thing I've ever seen. So if it's going to be goal of the year, it has to be spectacular like that. And she set the bar very high. Otherwise, it'd be mark of the year. So I think I've said both, but
That's fair. I think that's a good thing, Nicola. Not many people say both. You could really, honestly, you could take a mark of the hanger and then the other person you take the hanger on falls over and it's just a one-on-one contest and you take the mark, they fall on their arm and you run straight past them and you're near the boundary, then you kick the check side from the boundary or something. There, you can both.
Yeah, see if you can get both mark and goal of the year in one. That'd be elite.
That's right. That'd be amazing. If you could now, this could be as unrealistic as you like here. So add in the distance, the angle, the moment, the occasion. What would be the best goal you would love to ever get?
The best goal I would love to ever get.
It can be as unrealistic as you like.
I would love to do. I love a run on goal. I do. I tend to not love set shots, but I do love a run on goal. So like do a Ricky Cranston and like handball out in front, someone like, you know, try to tackle you, then pick back up the ball on a very hard angle near the boundary and just slice it through on a warm, you know, afternoon. I think that would just be elite. So like running down the wing, I essentially handball out in front of yourself so you don't get tackled because it would be a free. Keep running on. And she did that one year in the AFLW, and it made me really appreciate, you know, her as a player. So yeah, probably that would be my ideal goal, unless I could do what Danielle Ponta did out the midfield, but I don't play in midfield unless it's in community footy. So yeah.
That's fair. I remember that goal, and at that point in time, I was asking that question a lot. I was always asking people if they'd seen that goal, then if they were to have anyone in their team who thinks they'd be able to replicate that. I know it bounced and it skidded and had a bit of luck involved, which I'm sure a goal from that distance would be. But yeah, how to recreate that, I don't think you really can.
No, oh God, no. Like it's, you know, it's skill, it's luck, and it's execution. So, you know, it's all of those things. And I think the luck part of it really helped, but it also helped that, you know, Caitlin Gold led out of the goal square and blocked the actual player to let it actually go through. So I think that contributed as well. And you can't discount when, you know, you've got your tall forward who, instead of taking the ball and scoring a goal themselves, blocks and runs and leads out and creates that opportunity for you. I think that's a solid teammate or team first act as well. So yeah.
For sure. Now, I've just got two more questions for you. I do really appreciate coming on. So the first one is, it's what I call the hot topic food questions, where teammates have, I know, the hot topic food questions. So the debate of, you know, food questions. There's 6 questions. Only 8 people have said the illogical wrong answer for the first one. And only 12 people out of over 100 people have ever got all 6 correctly. How are you with food? Are you someone that's pretty cool and basic? Are you someone that's not picky, but like, you know, depending on what it is, how are you with all that?
With like food and cooking, or just knowing my foods and fruits and veg?
Basically you'll have and not have, or certain ways and stuff like that.
Or I'm probably going to foul this pretty badly. So
as long as now, no one's ever gotten lower than 3 out of 6, so we'll see how we go. There's a bunch of people on 3. Now, the first one, and really the one I want everyone to get the most, for those 8 people that said the illogical wrong answer, chicken palmy. Is it a palmy or is it something else?
Or I'm just going to say it's no, is it? Yeah, it is a palmy. It's not a palmer. It's a palmy.
Correct. Good answer. That's the answer. I mean, you know what I tell the people in Nicola that say the otherwise? I just tell them to spell it out or to pronounce it, and it's not an A or an O or an E. It's an I. Simple. Yeah,
it is. Absolutely. I don't eat chicken, but...
No, I'm not a big fan of it, if I'm being honest. And pineapple on a pizza, yes or no?
I'm a yes. So, which I know that a lot of people don't like, but I'm an absolutely... I do love my pineapple on a pizza, so...
I won't cop that, so we're 1 for 2, but that's all right. And to be honest, I'm a bit more surprised, because I like you said, I would have thought more don't like it, but a lot of people say it more now, so it's interesting. Anyway, next one I've got for you is tomato sauce, cupboard or fridge?
Me and my partner argue about this all the time. I am a cupboard girl and he is a fridge. So again, like I always say cupboard, but I think he says fridge. So I'm going to say cupboard.
So I'm on your side there. I mean, I don't really care which one. But so is it go to a point where you fight with him and you'll put it in the cupboard and he'll take it out of the cupboard and put it in the fridge and vice versa?
I've just resigned to putting it in the fridge, because otherwise he can't find it and then he just buys more. So then we have like 5 tomato sauce bottles and I'm like, no, we don't need that many. So I've just resigned to putting it in the fridge. But personally, I'm a cupboard person for that.
That's fair enough. So, right, the next one is favourite food.
Favourite food. I mean, I do love my pizza, but I think overall, hot chips is my favourite food, and potato in general, because it's such a versatile food, veg, whatever. So yeah, hot chips for sure.
That's fair. I'll give you that one. 3 for 4. Good job. Now the next one is food you don't like.
Don't like. I mean, probably like processed food. Like I like home cooked or anything like that if I can avoid processed food. But like I am pretty open to a lot of food. Like I am a pescatarian, so I'll eat fish and veg and that. But yeah, anything that I don't have to cook, if someone's gone to the effort to cook for me and it's a nice home cooked meal, most of the time I'll eat it anyway. So yeah, I'm pretty open to everything, to be honest, apart from super processed packaged food. So yeah.
I don't know how to grade that. I want to give you a half. I'm giving you a half. It's really hard to grade. So 3.5. Last one for the food side of things. And this is funny because you just mentioned about processed foods, but favorite takeaway place.
Oh, takeaway.
Which can do restaurants as well.
Oh, can do restaurants. Cool.
Yeah.
Again, I do love Zambies. There's nothing like a Zambies meal. But then Millie, one of our leaders at West East, she's got this sponsor who's amazing, and I think they're called Salty and Sweet Cafe in Glenelg, and their food is just elite. Like they do your pad thais, your green curries, and all of that, and yeah, their food down there is just elite. I could live on that if I could. So
that's good. Now this is the controversial one. You're worried about teammate questions before, Nicola. Well, I don't know how you're going to go with these three. Oh, no. So teammates may get broken, and teammates may love you more and more for it. But we'll see how you go with these three. First one, chatterbox of the club.
Chatterbox of the club. God, that's a really good one. Probably Chloe Tonkin, I reckon. I think she's a little bit of a chatterbox, but she's also a cracker. She absolutely cracks me up. I wouldn't change her for the world.
That's it. And to be honest, I always say this: being the best chatterbox or a chatterbox doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It can be, but it doesn't always mean it is.
No, not at all. At least I find, chatterbox, at least their personality and they're funny and they crack you up and they'll always talk to you. So
yeah, that's right. Loudest and quietest teammates.
Loudest. Oh, I feel like that's going to go to Georgie Pater is probably one of the loudest alongside Chloe Tonkin. Yeah. Again, I'm worried that I'm going to be forgetting someone quietest. Again, like everybody's actually probably Ruby Ballard maybe, but then like once you get talking, it's easy out. So it's like, but in general, I think she's pretty quiet. Yeah.
And this is probably my favorite one to ask. If you're stuck on a deserted island with teammates, Nicola, who are you bringing and not bringing, and why?
Oh man, deserted island. I would I'm trying to think of who would be like super savvy with stuff. I feel like Paige Allen knows a lot about a lot of different things, and she's a good camper. She's a good country girl, so I think I'd take Paigey. Although she's a Gemini, I'll forgive her because a few of my friends are Geminis. So no, I'm kidding. We won't go into astrology. Who else would I bring? I would probably bring Emma Chapman because she's tall, and she's very athletic, so she'd be very good in, I think, like if it was a deserted island, swimming, climbing trees, running. I think she'd be very good with that. I'm trying to think who else. It's hard to know who would be good on a deserted island because I would probably be a manic person to deal with, so I probably wouldn't want to be stuck with me on a deserted island. And then I'd probably say, Kendall Saffin, because she's pretty logical and pretty smart as well. I'm trying to think who else. Probably Nicole Hooper because I think she'd be hilarious and do some dumb shit that would be very entertaining, and she would be a good moral compass of whether we're all going to live or die. Who else would I bring? Oh God, that's always the hardest question. And then who I'd leave behind?
Yeah, who's getting the bill? Who's not coming?
I hate this question. Oh man, I'm probably going to say Soz Claus, love you. I probably won't take Claus, just because I don't know how she'd do on a desert island. Pater, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to leave you too, even though your farming and agricultural skills might be offhand. And I don't even know. And maybe as much as again, love your Zoe. I'd probably leave Zoe betting just because some of the shit that she says is hilarious. But yeah, I don't know how she'd go on a desert island either. I'm sorry, Zoe. I'm sorry, girls. It's not that I don't love you. Yeah, I honestly, it would be too hard to pick between
Yeah.
a lot of different people. So, because they'd all have really good strengths and then things that I'd be like, I don't know how. Again, and I also don't know how they'd put up with me because, like I said, I'd be quite a manic mess on a desert island if I was stranded there. So,
No, that's fair enough. Now,
yeah.
quickly, 2 more for you to do pressure coming. So, dead or alive, pick 3 famous people you'd like to go out to dinner with.
Dead or alive, 3 famous people.
Who's on your dinner? I mean, not menu. I mean, who's on your
my
list?
menu? I'm not a cannibal. Fun fact. Do not eat other people. Yeah, no, you're fine. I knew what you meant, so it's fine.
Should have stuck the original question and be quiet. Yeah. Same thing. Who did you take to go out to dinner with? That's better.
No, that's fine. Oh man, probably Jennifer Lawrence because I think she'd be funny to go out to dinner with, and I think we'd vibe. I think we'd have a good couple of laughs.
Yeah.
Maybe Margot Robbie because she seems really interesting and really smart, and she's just really pretty. And then probably a bit left of center, but Frank Sinatra just because I do love a lot of his songs and I have a lot of his vinyls. I just think he's had an interesting life too with, I guess, everything in the mafia and singing, songwriting, blues, jazz, that kind of stuff. I think he'd be really interesting to chat to. So yeah, they would be my 3.
Very good. And the last one I've got for you, so do pressure coming on. Game day superstitions. Do you have any game day superstitions that you must do?
I used to, but then I feel like they didn't always work in my favor. So, I think the biggest one is, for me, is to make sure my bag is like pretty much packed the night before. That's one thing that I've always forever done is made sure that the bag is packed ready to go so that I can just do whatever I need to do in the morning. And also make sure I have a carby dinner. So whether that be pasta or rice, like it's always on Friday night if we're playing Saturday or Saturday night if we're playing Sunday, gotta have carbs, can't compromise, can't do it because if I don't have a carby dinner, I feel like it's going to ruin everything. So yeah, they would probably be my only 2. Like I don't have the same socks or underwear that some people wear or fake tan, none of that stuff. I've tried those superstitious things that they've worked for other people, but no, unfortunately they're just the 2 that I stick with. So
that's fair enough. Yeah, don't always try and overdo it or overcomplicate it because if one of those superstitions happen, like if some people say about having a certain coffee or drink before the game, if the machine's not working or you go to a certain place and they're closed, like you're screwed then, aren't you? If you have something like that. Exactly.
And then like it's ruined your superstitions. Like it's ruined your superstition anyway because it didn't work. So that's where, yeah. And the other one is never ever wear new boots to a game. You must train in new boots before you play.
Okay.
Some advice. That's just a given, but yeah.
That's some advice, Nicola, for people to take on. I do really appreciate coming on. All the best for the potential last game of the season. Hopefully it goes the way Sturt do the job that you want them to do and you get the win and win by how you need to win. So really do appreciate coming on. Thanks for coming on. Thanks.